Hello.
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 You're a little loud. Let me adjust the volume here. Hmm. Okay, can you hear me now?
Oh yeah.
I may have adjusted it down too far just a moment.
Uh-oh.
Okay, how's that?
That's pretty good.
Okay, good on this end too. So,
Anything new going on?
mm, not particularly.
No.
I'm kind
Yeah.
of just getting back on my feet. I had a back problem that made it difficult for me to walk for a while, but now I think that's now under control. I'm using a walker, but I'm building some strength back in my legs. What had happened is there was a pinched nerve in my back, and it was very painful to move around at all. And they did an injection of some miracle drug in my spine, and that relieved the pain. And now I'm building my leg strength back up. So,
Got it.
yeah,
Yeah.
so well,
Uh, that's my my mom says it's hell getting old. So,
I can agree with that.
so
However, the alternative is not very appealing either. So,
that would be yes. I think I could agree with that. But yeah. She we me and Patty will be 55 this year. She keeps going, "You're senior citizens. I can't believe I have senior citizens."
well,
And my sister's 2 years younger, so she'll be a senior citizen soon.
well, yeah, I'm probably older than your mom, but in any case,
Mom is uh you might be. Mom's turning 80 this year.
well, I'm
Oh,
a little older than she is, that's for sure.
yeah.
So,
You're you're probably about the same age as my dad. He's 86.
no, I'm between the two of them.
Okay.
So, at any rate, so far so good.
Yeah.
But I am definitely dealing with some of the issues of getting older.
Yeah, I understand.
So, what you been working on this week?
Well, that's the weirdest thing. Thursday got here and I'm like, where'd the week go? The week is gone and I don't know how we got to Thursday.
Okay.
So
Well,
I really haven't worked on anything. Um, Patty was on vacation last week, so that explains a lot of that. We were just doing vacation stuff, and we didn't really go anywhere but kids and you know grandkids and all that.
uh-huh.
And then of course, my car is still in the shop, and
Oh, really?
yeah, yeah, she's getting pretty tired of it being there, but um, so there was a lot of just transport back and forth, get mom where she needs to go, get Patty where she needs to go, get everybody where they need to go, which, you know, that was that was the role I took because I had the car.
So, what's with the car that's in the shop? What is the issue there?
Well, see, I think was it last Thursday, last Wednesday, maybe he called me and I told him to go ahead and get the parts and everything they needed. The parts he had to order a new rear end for it.
Oh, this is
And
the differential business.
yeah, well, the differential and the axle, the gears, the gear things.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know, we had I had talked to him about just ordering a differential kit and rebuilding it, um, which he said would the kit was cheap, but he said the time involved in rebuilding a
Yeah,
differential
the labor will eat you alive.
would probably be way more than it would be if he could just find a good used axle and differential. And I said, okay, you know. So he got me the price, and I said, yeah, sounds good. Go ahead and order the part. Well, the part was coming from Georgia, so I'm honestly not sure if it got here yet. I would have he was thinking 3 or 4 days, so I'm guessing it got here, but I haven't heard from the man yet, and I have no idea. Um,
So the strategy now is to replace the whole rear axle
yeah, because
assembly.
he told me that it definitely was the differential. He told me that he suspected that there were I forget what the starts with a P. Where the axles and the differential meet.
Well, there's the spider gears. I know that.
Yeah,
And
I guess when he got up there and started when he got it up on the rack and started really looking at it, he knew the differential was bad from driving it, but when he got to looking at it, he suspected that those other gears were either bad or damaged from the differential.
So
So he,
you know what caused this?
well, uh 100% for sure, no. Um, I suspect that, because the car had been sitting for as long as the car had been sitting, that the gasket holding the differential oil, or whatever you call that, had rotted and eventually failed. Um, and I have suspected that the rear end was leaking. Um, but I also had a major, like a big oil leak at the same time. So from where I sit on a slight hill, so the oil would have ran down and coated the differential. So I'm not
Mm,
surprised that nobody caught it, because if you put it up on the rack, you would have seen oil running down the shaft onto the differential in the rear end.
uh-huh.
So I suspect that I have had a that actually both gearboxes were leaking. The front oil pan and the differential gearbox were both leaking, and I have suspected that for a while, but kind of getting people to listen to you sometimes is not not entirely too easy to do. And well, I think my mechanic is really good. He's a really good mechanic. Um, knows an awful lot about cars. He's also an extremely busy person, and when you take him a problem and you tell him what you think's the problem, I think he that's what he focuses on. So,
Uh-huh.
so this time I told him what I thought the problem was, and he goes, "No, no, that's not the problem." So, so, but I went, "Okay." Um,
So so which of the cars is this? Is this the black one or the white one?
the white one's gone has been gone for I haven't owned it for a while. Um, so this is the black and white.
Okay.
Um,
So what are you driving in the meanwhile?
I am driving a what is that, a Buick Enclave. Uh, and
Enclave.
I don't like it. I don't like that car at all.
So but is this a borrowed car, a rented
Yeah,
car, or?
it's my mom's car.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Okay.
it's a 2018. It's a newer car. Um, it's got a it's got a ton of extras, but
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of the stuff it's got, um, I just kind of sit there and go, why did they add this to the car? So,
Uh-huh.
why do I need this? Why?
Oh, Steve is coming up. Okay. Oh, wow.
So that's what mom's got, and I I think she paid too much for it, but I don't think she paid that much for it. I'm not sure. Um, but it's got an infotainment center and the whole OnStar and all this other stuff on it. And I'm just like, do we really need all that stuff? And really, my biggest problem with it, this picture really, yep, there it goes. So uh, that that
This,
that picture really doesn't show it well. Um, this picture might. Down here are controls for the radio, but on the
yeah,
radio itself are the exact same controls. And over on the steering wheel are exactly the same controls. They just button they put buttons everywhere in that thing. Hey, hi Steve.
hey,
Hello.
Steve, so where are you?
What?
He, he's out on a back porch somewhere.
I am. I got a show and tell.
Oh,
Oh,
cool.
wow,
Oh,
great.
if I can figure out how to turn the camera around.
This is on,
I bought a robot.
He's got a robot.
is
It's a
this,
Segway Navimo. The noise you hear is the air conditioner.
so this is,
That's what it looks like underneath. Not much to it. This little spot back here, you can hide a cell phone radio in. I'm sure it probably doesn't appreciate that it got turned upside down. Back
so,
in its starting spot and tell it to mow. Well, maybe.
You're standing in front of it.
Right? Yeah. Oh, there it goes. And the noise you hear is the air conditioner, not that thing. It is nearly silent.
so this mows
So it's
to a pattern?
one of the wireless ones. It doesn't have a loop around the outside.
Okay.
It's got a camera, so it knows where it's at. I traced a path around the perimeter, and it got stuck. It doesn't do that often. It'll try to go around that. I was gonna kick it in the butt.
Yeah. Well, it
Looks
got
like it
its
ran into a sticker. Well, I don't know what it did. Oh, there's a brick buried there.
it got itself unstuck though. That's the important
Yeah,
part.
yeah. So this fence right here, that section, I need to put a gate through there for it. But yeah, it just jumbles along, does its thing.
So this one goes in a pattern, like like a
Yeah, it does.
square or
And it's got the RTK antenna doohickey here, and there's a
okay.
wire that's kind of buried in the grass, but not very well. But in theory, it should be able to do everything I need pretty much any time. Um, it takes it um, about 6.5 hours to do the backyard. I figure it'll be about 3.5 to do the front, but I need to put a gate through the fence that it can go through, and it needs to be a gate that the dog can't go through. So what I'm thinking at this point is I've got a couple of little solar panels. Like I've got one that puts out almost an amp at 5 volts in full sun, and it's like 50 milliamps through a t-shirt. Um, just put a five timer on it and an IR emitter, tune it to 38 kilohertz, and put a 38 kilohertz receiver on something over on the gate. So aim it off the front of that thing. So if it's moving toward the gate and it's Tuesday or Thursday, the gate goes up. Otherwise, the gate's down. Haven't figured out how to let it back in though. But yeah, fun toy.
Yeah, well, live in the apartment now, so we don't have to worry about it, but I miss my robot. That was fun. And I mine I mine had the wire and it was more like a Roomba, so it just bounced around and eventually it
Mhm.
got everything, but I just let it, I set it for every day at a couple times a day and it would go out and mow the yard, bouncing
Yeah.
around.
So what
This
happens?
one goes in a pattern, and it's kind of neat because it changes the pattern every time it mows. It goes around the perimeter, but then on the first time I ran it, it ran parallel to the back of the house. The second day I ran it, it ran at maybe a 30-degree angle, and I don't know what it's going to do today because this is the third time it's run.
Okay.
What happens if it rains? Is it rainproof?
But
Rain, rain, water from the sky. Okay.
no, in theory, off a duck's ass. It
Oh,
shouldn't. I mean, it's supposed to be able to deal with rain,
okay. It doesn't
and so
deal.
far it has.
Oh, you've run it in rain?
Oh yeah. Well, and it rained today. I
Oh,
mean, it just sits outside. I am going to put a little garage over it, but that's more for sun than rain.
Yeah.
I've also, I'll probably switch the tires on it. There's quite a few available for it on Cults 3D and uh, the Pressa website. So there's a lot more aggressive tires for it. I'm also going to do a 6 blade cutter for it instead of the 3 that it's got. But
My mine had a triangle pattern blade. Each blade had two blades, but it had three blades. Like it was a very interesting deal. There was
ah,
one in the front and two in the middle.
hmm.
okay. So
Uh,
9 blades total.
well, there was three three holes with two blades in each hole, so six.
So it had one spinning disc with three
No,
double-sided blades on it or something.
well, it had. I never actually. No, I take that back. I did. There were three motors in it, so there were three spinny things in there. So had three blades.
Hold on. I'm going to go back inside and oh, let me tell this thing to go back home. There's no point in running it right now. It'll run again tomorrow on its own.
So I assume that you have to put the dog in the house when you're doing this.
Um, wait, hold on.
It's probably too hot.
You going home? Yep, there it goes. The one thing that has been very good at is finding bricks in my yard. It doesn't
Um,
hit them, but it can't climb over them because they're a lot smoother than dirt.
hmm.
Mine ended up the stupid guide wire came up off the ground, and mine ended up cutting the guide wire a couple of times. Hated that. That was the worst part of that robot, was that stupid wire. But it was
Yeah, this
also,
is only
well, it was an early model. So I'm not surprised they fixed that problem. I couldn't have been the only one suffering from having to go out and repairing the wire. The good thing
oh,
about that was it stopped instantly. So you could, as soon as the wire was cut, it would stop. And that was pretty much where within that foot section of, that's where you would find the break in the wire. So
So let me understand. The one you had, Leroy, had a wire and it just followed the wire around.
the wire was a fence. So it would bounce in between the wire. It
Okay,
the wire was carrying, it was funky. It was AC with a DC carrier, or
okay,
DC with an AC carrier. It had a DC component. It knew which direction to get on the wire and follow the wire back around to its doghouse. It actually had a house. Its charging station was inside of a house, but it had an AC component to it um that was the part where it um knew that it was inside the fence. If you took it outside of the fence, it would lose that, and it wouldn't work. You could tell it to ignore that though. Like if you needed it to do a small section outside of a fenced area, you could tell it to do it, but that was kind of iffy at best. Um, the only reason it every single time it would go back home, back to its doghouse, it would go to the very end of the wire and follow that wire clear back around to the doghouse. It wouldn't just pick up the wire and somewhere in the middle. It would go to the very end and do it. It was a very interesting machine. Um,
so so these automatically recharge themselves.
mhm.
and just like Steve's, I could go out and hit a button on it and tell it to go out, but it had a programmable section, and you could just tell it what days to do. You could tell it. It had a humidity sensor, and it had well, I guess it actually had a rain sensor on it. Um, so if it was in a heavy rain, it wouldn't even come out of its doghouse. It would just stay in its doghouse. Um, but if it was a light rain, or if the humidity was really, really high, well, if the humidity was really, really high, it wouldn't come out. If it was light rain, it would at least come out of its doghouse and do part of it, and then decide to go back in. But it was pretty good for what it was. And like I said, that had to have been one of the early models, because that was at least 15 years ago, probably longer than that. Um,
So kind of interesting. Here's what I've got on my phone. You can see it's doing that long straight line.
Yeah.
That's about 60 degrees to the back of the house. So it looks like it rotates about 30 degrees every time it mows, so you don't get ruts or something, which is kind of cool. You can also tell it to not mow in an area. I can import a PNG file to the software in the phone and have it leave Mickey Mouse or something in the lawn, which is stupid but cute.
So how come it mows like um, every day? Because, for example, I've got a gardener. Well, actually, both houses have gardeners, and they mow when the grass gets to a certain height. Um,
Do they
so to,
then rake?
I'm sorry,
Do they then rake or do they mulch it?
they mulch it.
Oh, okay.
Well, what they do here in California, they use um, a leaf blower, and the odd chance that there's actually enough grass. We haven't had rain since May. Okay, so it
You
doesn't
can have
grow.
mine.
It doesn't grow very fast, but at any rate, they 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 do the yard once a week, unless there's some, when we get into the monsoon system, or monsoon season in Milford, they do it once a week, except when it's really growing like mad. When there's there's a lot of rain, and then they come by and check it. I think every day, um,
So
and
I'm not
mow
going
it.
to check it every day and tell it, oh, it looks tall enough. I'm just going to have it mow every other day. Well, I'm probably 3 times a week,
Oh,
and
okay,
I'll let it have a day off. The taller the grass gets, the more energy it takes for it to move through it, and so the more frequently it has to go back and recharge because it will mow a good size, about a quarter of the backyard, and then go back and charge and come back, and it'll go exactly to where it was. This, in theory, I don't have a way to check it. This thing should be able to reposition itself within half an inch of where it was.
oh, wow.
Um, I mean, the RTK thing is impressive.
Now, what's the RTK thing?
It stands for real-time kinematics. It has two GPS antennas. There's one that's on a pole in the yard and one on the robot itself. And it doesn't so much know where it is on the planet, it knows where it is in relation to that post, because those should always be the same relative to each other.
Okay,
So it only knows my yard in relation to the other GPS sensor.
it
okay,
Since they are both looking at the same satellites and they're close enough that there shouldn't be any real difference in time sync.
yeah, they talk to each other,
Yeah.
and that replaced the wire.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
so
I've got 10 feet of wire that I kind of buried underground. I've got like a stake every 6 inches holding it down so that it can't get under the robot.
the yeah, I would watch it though, because sooner or later it does tend to work its way back up. if it's not buried
Oh,
really.
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what happened with mine. I buried it, and then I either didn't bury it good enough, or whatever, but it worked its way back up and started the robot ate the cord.
Uh,
So
I've
Well,
um
got
how,
enough wire I can put the receiver up on top of the house.
yeah,
And I was thinking about doing that, but
if it
yeah.
if it's going into the front yard, you might not be such a bad idea.
Well,
that's,
I think the base station has a Wi-Fi connection
Okay.
and the antenna is plugged into that. I think once it's going, it does everything over Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
okay.
probably. Um, See, mine didn't have Wi-Fi. Mine didn't. Mine was a very early model. No Wi-Fi, no apps. You go out, you hit buttons. Um, Mine did have uh, if I remember right, mine had a height sensor
Mhm.
thing on it, but I don't really know what that ever did
Well,
uh,
now you're talking about
for the
the,
grass. So if the grass was too tall or whatever, um, I do remember that the manual for mine said to either mow the yard first with a regular mower or set it out there and let it go every single day. But once you
Mhm.
wanted to do it, once you had it going, you wanted to do it at least every other day. And that was to maintain the height more than anything else. Because like Steve said, it it struggled if the grass was too tall. And it would take forever if the grass was too tall. If it's just out there maintaining the grass, it can do that in an hour or so and go back home, be perfectly happy. Um, Mine also had, mine was more or less a outdoor Roomba, and so it just bounced around. So the first couple of days, the first week or so, it missed spots, and eventually it got everything in the yard. And once that happened, it's bouncing around didn't seem to matter so much because eventually it would go back over the spot. But you would hardly ever see places that were taller. Once you got everything leveled out the way it should be, you rarely would see places that were taller than other places. So because it just maintained an even pattern. So
interesting. Oh,
two different approaches. Steve's is probably more efficient because it follows a pattern. But I was trying to find a picture of the bottom of mine because it's hard to explain. I don't think
how, how wide a swath do these take? Are they like
This
three
one's
feet?
only 8 inches.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay.
yeah. Well, I was going to say mine probably was maybe a foot, maybe, probably not
If it
even that
had
long.
three spinny bits, it was probably wider than that.
I did find this, but it doesn't show
That was yours?
that's mine.
That's doing a heck of a job.
Yeah, that was. It was struggling though. You can hear it. We also had a um it had metal wheels, metal spiky wheels on the back, so it could dig in,
That's kind of cool.
but you could kind of see the size of the path with that.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, is that mount up on top something you added?
Oh, I probably tried to add a camera to it or something. Nope, that I'll tell you exactly what that was. That was the charging mount
Oh, okay.
or part
I
of the
figured that
charging.
was the little ball sticking out in the front.
Nope, that was part of the charging mount. Um, I took the cover off of it. I'm not real sure why I took the cover off of it, but
See if you could power a camera off of it.
probably because I did, you know, I wanted to play around with it. Because me being me,
I don't know of anything that I've left the cover on.
Yeah. So
uh,
this one has the RTK for navigation, so it knows where it's gone. It also has a camera, so if the dog walks in front of it, it stops. Or if it comes up, I told it where the outside perimeter of the yard was, but I didn't tell it where the fire pit was. It just discovered it and went around it, and it now has that mapped as probably can't go there. If it sees a stick in the yard, it'll go around it. And then after a while, and it sends a notification to my phone that says that there was an area that it couldn't mow, and I'm supposed to go out and pick up the stick. And then it will eventually come back and go over that area again. And it also has a light sensor. It doesn't go at night because it has a camera, and if there's not enough light to see, it's not going to try. It doesn't have headlights. So it'll just go back to base station at night, charge up, and then the next morning finish up where it left off. In theory, it's limited to an eighth of an acre. Um, I've got a quarter acre with a house subtracted from that, and it seems like it's going to do that without any problem. If I had it going once a week, it would do the entire yard easily in a day and a half.
yeah, yeah, they're neat. They're neat things. They're neat toys. Um,
Now, what happens when it finds one of these bricks?
Um, the bricks aren't sticking up enough that I ever noticed. So they're not up. I've got it set for a 3 inch cutting height. I've got nothing in the yard that sticks up that high. So it won't hit the blades or anything, but the bricks are very slippery compared to the grass. So it loses traction and wonders what happened and then gets confused and starts blinking the red light. That's one of the reasons I want to put the more aggressive tires on it.
So the yard has these random bricks in it, or was there once
Yep.
a patio that had?
Nope. The patio is a concrete slab. I've pulled up probably 25 of those weird, meant to be a curved wall brick that has a lip that sticks down so that you can stack them for an angled wall. Hold on, they're retaining wall bricks. Let me see
Oh,
if I,
okay.
The interlocking lip.
yeah. And these are for a curved retaining wall.
that the house that my grandmother lived in had marbles in the backyard. Thousands of marbles.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I'm sure my robot would not have liked driving over marbles.
Well, I would be concerned that it would turn them into projectiles.
Oh no. So the blades on this are free to spin. And it's actually going pretty darn slow.
No,
So,
I was talking about the marbles.
oh, okay. Yeah.
No,
Um,
not the bricks. Now, what happens if you get a blade damaged? Do you just replace them, or you have to resharpen? Oh, okay, yeah.
So,
it's a thing. Mine aren't gray. They're mostly red. I don't know.
and you have no idea why they're out there.
There's nothing curved in my backyard. And that's all there are. There's no straight ones. So I made a fire pit with the ones I've found so far.
Well, slight of fantasy here. You're talking about it if it recognized your dog. I'm thinking, well, what if you recognize the neighbor's dog and you program the machine to chase your neighbor's dog around the yard? And then you go one step further and pick up marbles and fling the marbles at the neighbor's dog.
At the dog. I I always thought, I mean, there were hundreds of marbles out there, and you could walk out and just find them in the ground, but they were everywhere. They were just scattered everywhere, and I'm like, why would you do this? Who would do this? But
Might have been somebody that worked at a marble factory. And they just handed a pocket full of them to the kids every day when they got home and they disappeared. Whatever.
it's raining marbles. Who knows? But um, mine, Steve's is probably the same way. It's a safety thing. If it flipped over for some reason, while it was on, it would shut down instantly.
Yep.
Um, if it hit something that was large, it would shut the blades off. Like if something actually like a regular lawnmower, if the grass is too tall or too thick or whatever, the the mower will just go and stop. Well, same thing with that. It's spinning fast enough to chop the grass, but it's not spinning fast enough to prevent it from stopping. So if there's um I can't find a picture of the bolt pattern or the there were three holes with two
Yeah.
blades in each hole. That's that's all. It, the thing is, with the way the blades were set in mine, I don't think it could have actually shot something out from the side of it. I think it would have eventually, if it got caught in there, it would have eventually got caught inside one of the circle holes.
Yeah.
Um,
One of the things, an issue, and the reason that it needs to mow more frequently, it doesn't generate an updraft. It doesn't suck the grass up.
Uh,
And so if the grass is too tall, it's just pushed over by the front bumper and it never hits the blades.
yeah.
Um, here.
It forms a big grass mat.
Yes, it does.
Well, and that video that I showed you, you could kind of see that happening.
These are the wheels I want to put on it.
Yep.
Nice little 3D print with something that'll sting if it goes over your foot. And oops, that's the 6 blade cutter. If I buy these little razor blades from Segway, they're like $1.50 a piece. I found them on AliExpress for like 60 of them for $4. So I'm going to void my warranty. And here's a 3D printed Navimo bottom blade thing. Um, this guard is added as well. It's not just the blade here. And I think that's to help push the grass into the blade. And a lot of people seem to be taking um, the bumper off of theirs.
So it doesn't push the grass flat.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. I honestly, the way the blades are mounted on this thing, if I've got on shoes, I think I could stick my foot under it and it'd be fine.
Oh,
That
well.
that disc that spins is going surprisingly slow. I figured it'd be going 2000 RPM. It's more like 400. It relies on those blades being really, really sharp. And they are. They're effectively they're razor blades. But I got leather shoes. I do not think they would go through, and they're steel toes. I know they wouldn't go through the steel. Well, plastic. The motor that drives that is an inch and a half in diameter and maybe 3/4 of an inch thick. It needs an upgrade.
I mine sets so low to the ground, I don't think you could get your foot under it if you tried. But I think that the pushing of the grass over was part of the reason why mine had a triangle pattern to it. So
Could be.
in theory, the grass, if it gets pushed over, should pop back up and at least get hit by something.
Yeah,
Mine did pretty well though, and uh, after if you let it go and you do it every day, every other day, your yard will look phenomenal. I mean, it just it looks like a professional has come out and taken care of your yard. It really does. Um,
I'm hopeful because I absolutely hate mowing grass.
yep,
It is like pulling teeth for me.
yep.
well, my nephew lives in Kansas City, and he has been a small engine mechanic for probably 50 years. And people come by and drop mowers off at his house, either that they've stopped running or they want them repaired or whatever. So he has a collection of about 150 mowers. And he showed me one that had been modified so that the grass wasn't pushed over. And some hillbilly had cut the deck to cut one of the front wheels off and let the blade protrude out of the opening into uh, the opening so you could go along, and the blade, this is a regular lawnmower blade with a gas powered engine, would whip around and cut the tall grass without it pushing over.
Yep.
But also, I don't think a steel toed boot would do you any good in that situation. It's like some of the things people do just scare the hell out of me.
Yeah, that sounds dangerous.
Inherently.
I had an electric lawnmower. This wasn't a robot. This was a regular push lawnmower. Um, a number of years ago. This would be in the 80s or something. But it had the fish line kind of trimmer. It wasn't a fixed blade. It was thicker than fish line, but it was basically that principle where it had a spinning spindle, and then it had the fish line that came out, and theoretically, at least, as the fish line wore down, it would extend more of it out and so forth and so on. But it was not. It didn't give a satisfactory mow. You didn't end up like a putting green. You ended up like the rough, so to speak. And I only had it for a while. And the reason I had it, all of you being married will appreciate this. The reason I had it was an electric lawnmower, and my wife was afraid of having a gasoline can in the garage for a gas mower. So, and then earlier on, I had a riding mower. When I was living in New Jersey, I had a riding mower, and you kind of needed that because I had like an acre and a third, and it was one of these situations where you basically start mowing at the beginning of the week, and if you're lucky, you were done by the end of the week, and then you started right up again because it took a long time to mow.
Yeah.
But my solution now is that I've got a yard service that I pay on a regular basis, and they come in and do the whole thing.
I had considered doing that. They quoted me $40 a week to mow the grass. And that didn't seem too bad. But if this thing lasts me 3 years, it'll be cheaper.
Yeah.
And people seem to think it should. On Reddit, there's a Automo group, and most
Mhm.
people are saying they're lasting 8 to 10 years. So
Okay.
we'll find out.
That should be easy. I mean, it should be an easy 8 to 10 years as long as you keep up with the blades or whatever. I mean, if
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rinse it off every now and then. And that's what they tell you to do. Pick it up, rinse off the bottom, rinse off the top, put it back on its base.
Okay.
mine was probably old when I got it because we found it on Craigslist for $50.
Dang.
We weren't going to let that go. We didn't. The guy who had it didn't know if it worked. He didn't know it. Basically, he was renting a room out to somebody, and he had a big, huge farm. And he said that robot wasn't going to do his farm any good, but the guy stopped paying him rent, and he sold it. So, oh, look at all that.
I've worked at 3 different mower shops. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
But
I was in 4-H for small engines, and one of my first engines was a Maytag two-stroke, and the second was a Briggs H4, which I thought was really appropriate for 4-H. But it was a horizontal shaft, 4-inch stroke, 4-stroke, with an exposed exhaust push valve and a poppet intake. So it was from about 1912.
I honestly, I have been looking at all these old pictures. I honestly cannot believe that I just have videos of this robot. Just videos. I don't have any pictures of the bottom of it. Um, but yeah, we got ours for $50. It had it came with everything you needed to make it work. One of the batteries was just it wasn't bad, but it was very, very low. So we didn't even replace it. We just, you know, we'll use it until it dies. And it lasted probably another 5, 7 years after that without replacing the battery. I started to notice it had some battery issue um after the second snow. It started acting a little weird with taking a charge, but it took a charge and it ran on one battery. So
So
it was fine. It
what
didn't
does
care.
snow have to do with it?
I think the cold. I don't think it was the snow per se. I think it was the cold. Um, it just finally killed the weak battery. Just finally gave up.
Now these are lithium ion batteries or lead
Uh,
gel batteries?
they were. I don't think they were lithium ion. I don't think they were. They that thing was too light for lead acid.
Well, the lead gel are not as heavy as the classic lead acid, but
It might have been lead gel. They were fairly robust batteries. I remember we priced them out and they were going to be more than what we paid for the robot, and we just said the heck with it. This was when we owned the computer shop, and I had a partner and he combed Craigslist constantly looking for stuff, and we just kind of said the heck with it. Um, Neither one of us, the computer shop didn't have a yard, so we didn't really need it for that. We thought maybe we could resell it, and I said, "Well, let me take it home and mow the yard," and it sort of ended up at home mowing the yard. Um, when we moved from that house to another house, he got it back for his dad, so
Wow.
what are we looking at here?
This is a ancient Briggs and Stratton engine. Um, this is an FH. Mine was a H4, but about the same time. If you so the flywheel on this side is pewter, or not pewter, but pot metal, and that has the batteries in it for the ignition. But this foot pedal cranes forward to about here so that it isn't in the way as much. This was an early engine to run a washing machine or something stationary. And the gas tank is the bottom.
Hmm.
It is a four-stroke. It had oil in there, but the gas tank just went underneath the engine. It was weird. Um, my rear flywheel was the same diameter as the front one. And also the the fins on my cylinder were at a 45-degree angle. Don't know why these are not. This also has a better carburetor, but single push rod. I like the cheese head screws that hold the cylinder in place. massive carburetor. That was it. It didn't have an air filter. This is where you put in your gas. Most of these you can't start anymore because that flywheel just will explode. Um, this one looks pretty good. I don't know if they had it rebuilt or not. There's a little Sprague clutch on this. So if there's any drag on it, it is stationary. But if there isn't, it spins at engine speed. Oh, that one's been broken and repaired. Just toys. It was a fun project. I was afraid to take it above about 600 RPM.
It's simple enough that a learner could work on it.
It's simple enough a 5-year-old can work on it.
Well,
You
not
would
all 5-year-olds know how to put their shoes on.
One of the neat things about it to adjust the tappet, you loosen this square bolt here and this whole shaft moves up and down. So there was nothing adjustable in the valve train except for the height of this pivot point. No, sorry, I thought I had done that already. This part moves. That little square head bolt just holds this in place. My dad had a bunch of old mowers and engines and tractors and stuff. We had shoot, I don't remember who made it. We had a hit and miss that I used to play with probably 2 or 3 times a year just to make sure that it would still run. And it'd sit there and and somewhere I've got pictures of my kids at the
Hmm. Hmm.
engine that's got a 14-foot diameter flywheel. And if you're into old greasy tractors and stuff, that's a good show to go see. It's in Indiana, north of I-70 on US 27. They consider themselves to be the world's largest engine show. I don't know if that's true or not. This isn't what I wanted. Um, hmm, that's interesting. Lots of stuff like this. Oh, well, okay. Whole bunch of old guys in hats.
Showing off
Weird little engines.
weird little engines. Oh, that's cute.
Free rides. Those are models. That isn't actual production stuff. That's a production engine. That's probably rated at 1 horsepower and probably weighs in at 500 pounds.
Not an aviation engine.
No, no, the amount of work that the Wright brothers put into their engine was more than what they put into the airframe. See if they have one specific engine that is kind of the centerpiece for the show, and it's a 45 horsepower 2-cylinder diesel that has a third cylinder just to push compressed air into to start the engine. Old International Harvester. Just stuff. Sorry. That's the toys that I enjoy.
Where is this place in Indiana?
Um, let's see.
I mean, is there a city close to
It's
it?
in Portland, Indiana.
Portland, Indiana.
Yeah.
Okay.
1010 North Morton Street, Portland, Indiana.
Does this open year round, or they just have one?
One big show a year, but there are like 6 engine clubs near there that show up. So this year it is August 20th through the 23rd. And it's their 60th annual, which is interesting. That means they started the year I was born.
Well, gentlemen, I have a little switch in topic. I have several things I don't know whether anybody is interested in. I have 10 pegboard sheets that are 31 inches by 31 inches and 300 pegboard hooks with an expanded port on it so they don't come loose. I'm not looking to get rid of it. I just offer it if anybody needs such an item. Okay, I also have probably 60 or 70 square interlocking tubes or inter telescoping tubes off of pop-up shelters. Don't know whether anybody has any interest in steel tubing.
How long are they?
They're probably 4 to 5 feet.
Yeah.
Barry just showed up, and I think probably a month ago he was looking maybe for pegboard or pegboard ideas. I think it was Barry. Maybe Barry will say howdy.
Yeah, he was looking at a trackboard or something like that.
Yeah. So
What are we talking about?
I got about 300 of these pegboard hooks and 10 31 by 31 inch pieces of pegboard.
Ah,
And I didn't know whether anybody had a particular interest in those or square steel tubing.
I like tubing.
Square steel tubing?
Yep. You know, the easy up shelters and pop up shelters. This is the tubing from them. They are always laying around having had the top ripped or been folded up by a gorilla, and I pick them up and accumulate them with the intent of doing something with them. And the something I'm doing with them is offering them to other people.
That that would be the something.
That would be it. Too nice to go to the dump. Nice feedstock for great projects. Not that heavy.
Oh.
These are lighter duty.
Same idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're pretty much nesting so that they are 7/8 of an inch. Next size up, 1 inch, 1 1/8, 1 1/4, 1 1/2, so that you could build a really heavy structure if you wanted to put many of them together.
Wait, how many?
I'm going to bow out. And if you have any desire for any of those things, just let me know.
Take care, Mike.
Will do.
See you later.
Yeah, it's probably like the tubing that comes with the. Have you seen those little cheapo sheds that are like $300 for like a 10 by 12? They're real lightweight. Wind tears them up.
Something like that, sort of, kind of.
Nah, it's even lighter than that stuff.
Lighter than
Yeah,
that stuff.
and it doesn't have holes. Yeah, that's 1.5 inches. He's talking about stuff that starts out under 3/4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, leave it to Google not to find what I'm actually looking for. So,
Yeah, that's. I was gonna say I've got one of those sheds I bought off the auction, and it was like it's nice to have extra parts just to reinforce it up. But I was half tempted to, on the shed I'm looking to build, to probably just bolt all the metal into the 2x4s or something to make sure it doesn't fall over.
well, it might not be so bad if you needed like a temporary antenna or something. Throw an antenna up in a park or something. But I have no use for any of that stuff, nor would I have room for any of that stuff. I've Googled my lawnmower trying to find a picture of it, and I did. I found one picture, not the bottom, of course. And it seems like maybe the company that made my lawnmower isn't around anymore or something. It's almost like the internet has just forgotten about this lawnmower completely. And even Internet Archive doesn't have anything about it. It's kind of interesting. So me remembering it, and I might be in a different timeline now.
Did you ever really have it?
Yeah, exactly. I think I had it. I've got pictures of it. Well, I've got videos of it. I think it was there. What little bit Google says it was from 2009, so that would be a while ago.
Ah, shoot. This tractor show coincides with my Linux meeting,
Ah,
but there's a campground there too. And I've got a doctor's appointment on Thursday. I may go up Thursday, camp overnight, and come back Friday evening. I haven't been to this for 15 years.
Well, you could always run your Linux meeting from Indiana.
Steam
Mm, yeah,
steam powered Linux meeting. Those aren't all steam engines though. Those were a mix, weren't they?
yeah. They also have a lot of Stirling engines, hot air engines, which are
Yeah.
really fascinating to me. But yeah, they've got steam, they've got diesel, gas, hot air, um, wood gas. If it'll make something go around, somebody there's got one.
I always found steam engines to be kind of interesting. Those always kind of interested me.
I
Little
have a few toys, not full-size ones.
yeah.
Hold on.
Ah, we missed the steam engine show or the antique engine show in Ashtabula County. That was July 4th, 5th, and 6th. Anything new with you, Mr. Barry?
Oh, putzing with computer crap. Lots and lots of fun. Anybody need a computer?
No, not really.
Playing with the new Proxmox and messing around. I got Windows 11 running on it last night. I would have probably had OS X running on it, but it appears that I got some kind of stupid update on my TrueNAS and I can't read my shares right now because it's got to rebuild the ZFS table, um, which I'm hoping it recovers
Hmm.
because a lot of that I did not have a backup of yet.
Oopsie.
Oopsies.
I mean, I got my TV shows and stuff like that, but I didn't. I moved all my ISOs and all kinds of stuff like that onto it, and I deleted them off everything else to free up space because I wasn't too worried about them. But like the ISO for Somewhere or was it Sonoma or something like that, that I do not have a backup anywhere. I don't think. I dug through about a half dozen drives trying to find it last night before I thought it might be on there, and it was, but I didn't grab it last night because I didn't think about it at the time. And I thought, well, I'll grab it today, and I fired it up, and it's like, oh, the shares are offline, and it's running some kind of database thing, and there's two messages saying that the new update for ZFS is not compatible with the old version and will take, you know, I don't know, some kind of backup thing it's doing. Or
Stand by while we try to fix it.
yeah, so basically all the drives on it are offline. I'm like, well, that's not a good sign. But it's doing something, so I'm kind of hoping it, does its thing and comes back up some point. It's only been like 5 hours.
Yeah.
Do you have at least one drive's worth of free space?
Two of them are empty, but
Yeah, okay. That'll make it go a lot quicker. It
the
if it's doing what I think it's doing, it has to copy everything. It formats any blank space it can find, moves data onto it, formats the freed up space, moves data, and the more free space you have, the quicker it can go.
Yeah. Well, that's the
But
thing. I would have thought that the blank ones would at least showed up, but they're like I said, they're all offline. So, and they're like two jobs. One says doing something with database, and the other job said doing like a ZFS scan or something. So I was like, well, it's doing
yeah,
its thing. I guess I'll just let it keep trucking.
if it showed you that you had available drives, something might change and then it'd have to start over.
Yeah. I'm afraid to touch it at the moment because it's just like I said,
Yep.
it's 85 terabytes of shit. I don't want to lose.
Damn. I think all of mine is about 12.
I don't quite have that much, but I have a lot. I have a lot, and if I had to rebuild anything, I would not be happy.
Yeah. Well, I had to strip the one down because it wants 20% free space. So I moved some of the stuff to the other one. So I got two of them that are sitting at like 75%. And so I don't know. I said, it's got me a little nervous. If I lose it, I
It'll be
lose it. But
fine.
yeah, I was just say,
It's fine.
well,
You only need another 100 terabytes to move everything over before you rebuild your drive. That's fine.
yeah. Well, that's, I said 90% of my movie stuff's all on my old, uh, what was that box? It's Open Media Vault. So basically, I've cloned my Open Media Vault to it. Um, and then there's a couple shows that I've gotten that I don't have a backup of anywhere yet, but because the concept was I was going to clean off all my externals and sort them and organize them. I just hadn't gotten around to it and I forgot about it and I hadn't messed with it for the last couple months. Started tinkering with it last night when I was grabbing the image. I was like, oh, there it is. And then I booted it back up this morning and it's like, eh. After about 10 minutes, I couldn't understand why it wasn't showing up none of my shares. And it's like, something's kind of weird here. And I finally logged into it and it's like, yeah, it's all offline.
We're doing stuff. Leave us
Yeah.
alone. Yeah. I think of course this was back in the day when stuff was slow anyway, but we had to rebuild the server that we had at the computer shop a couple of times, and it always took forever to do it. But it was nice because everything was still there. It was much better than losing everything.
Yeah. If this first time I played with TrueNAS, that's not something I knew was even a thing. I don't know if it auto updated last night. I don't think I had that kind of stuff on, but it says there's a button for a new version, which I have not clicked. So I don't know what's going on.
There are some things that, like my little machine that you can't see over here, that doing the scanner. There's no point in updating it. It just does a scanner. So I have rejected updates on that one.
I'm sorry, sir, but it looks like a saucer, not a scanner.
Yeah, exactly. You can't see it. It looks like an old netbook connected to a saucer. There is a boing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that old netbook running Linux Mint DE5 because 6 caused all kinds of weird issues with it. So, I mean, it's even running an old version of Linux Mint, but it
Yeah.
works. And that's all I care about.
Did you see the new version of Debian or GNOME or something's deprecated X11?
Yeah, that's probably a good thing. It'll force Wayland to get adopted sooner than it's getting adopted otherwise. It's Debian 13.
Yeah. I said it.
Wayland's been the next best thing for like 8 years now. And everybody's just keeps going, well, I don't know how to configure it, and X is working. So
They've
pretty
taken my
certain.
they've taken my method. It just works. Just leave me alone.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I've done the same thing, but that comes back and bites you in the ass later. You should try to upgrade it, not upgrade that particular one, but get another machine, put on newer OS, hook the receiver up to it, try to duplicate the functions that you've got and see what's new. And only after you're satisfied that it's doing what you want, wipe the old one.
Yeah.
Keep the
Well,
play
all
leapfrog.
this machine, this little netbook, I don't know how old it is. It's an old Atom. If
Ooh.
it's if it's a if it's a dual core, I would be very surprised. I mean, it was slow when it was new. It was a piece of junk when it was new. It's doing everything it needs to do, and there's no reason to screw with it. Just let it do its thing. And all I use it for is for the scanner. Um, and I don't I I don't log into it. I don't turn it on. I don't do anything. I just listen to the scanner of it, the SDR. And, you know, if it's not broke, don't fix it. That's that sort of thing. But yeah,
Yeah, and then some random day it just doesn't work anymore.
well,
No, it'll keep going until its battery
Doesn't.
dies.
well, basically I could duplicate I already have. I mean, I actually set it up on this machine and then moved everything over to that machine so that I didn't have an SDR plugged in taking a spot on this machine. But once I figured out how to set it up, it was easy to duplicate it. So if this computer decides one day that, oh, it's done, it's never going to work ever again, pull another laptop out of the closet and try again.
I'm getting further and further away from Raspberry Pis, but one of the advantage of a Pi in that situation, if all you need is the audio, is you can always pick up another Raspberry Pi
Yeah,
and rebuild it exactly the way a previous one had been.
yeah,
Um, I I used to stick a USB to micro SD adapter in them and just clone the SD card.
yeah,
And you could do that, power it down, swap the SD cards, and bring it up, and it was identical. Um, that when I was at Reisenfeld and we were sending pies home with the employees, that's how I was setting them up.
Yeah.
I made one machine that was the golden image and then just copied the SD card over and over.
Yeah, and I actually considered using a Raspberry Pi. The software, the SDR software, was a little flaky on the Pi. It was written with x86 in mind, not ARM in mind.
Hmm.
But it worked. It just was flaky enough that, you know, finding even an old single core uh computer was more than enough to do what I needed it to do. And
I
yeah,
have a couple of i3 and i5 Gen 4 and 5 laptops if you want one.
okay,
It'd be a slight upgrade.
slight upgrade. The only the only real problem with this one is, I mean, it runs and runs and runs and runs. About once every 3 or 4 months, it slows way, way down, and I have to reboot it. So,
That's curious.
yeah,
So you mentioned that I had my big honking box the other day. I booted it up and I had it running for, I don't know, 15 or 30 minutes, somewhere around there. And it just, everything pegged out at 100% for like 10 minutes. I thought it was overheating and it freaked me out for a second. And I got to look and everything, like the CPU was at 100% and the RAM was at 100%. And then it all just settled down and was fine.
yeah.
I don't know what in the hell caused it other than it's running Windows 10.
Well, there's your
But
There you
problem.
go.
I just thought it was strange that it did that.
This this one usually, when it decides that it's going to slow down, you could tell the audio starts stuttering a little bit, and it doesn't recover. It just, that's where it stays, and hit the power button, restart it.
What's that? The other day, well, when I was gaming on it a few weeks ago, it had done that, and everything got real slow and choppy, and I didn't understand why the fans were all spinning up and full hilt, and I thought it was overheating. I freaked out and went to shut it all down, and then manually had to shut it down because it didn't turn off when I told it to shut down. I thought it overheat, but then like all the temperatures gauges and everything said it was fine. I guess it just whatever triggered it was causing all that overload. But I let it finish doing its thing. So I don't know if it was Windows did something that was taxing it all the way out or what.
Yeah. Anytime I ever see weird crap like that with Windows, it's doing like a big update in the background or something.
Well, that's the thing. So I run with Procmon on there. Nothing was eating the process. So it was like all the stuff that was visible, it was only using like 2% of the RAM, but then the RAM was saying it was at 100% utilization. And I was like, well, where's the other, 98% going to?
Not all the processes show up
Yeah.
in that software.
Oh,
It just seems strange. But like I said it hadn't done it since once I let it do its thing. So I was like, well, maybe it just needed to do its thing. And
well,
I
I
kept,
I don't know. I'm even running I've even got an old SDR plugged into that one. One of the first SDRs that I ever bought is plugged into that machine.
yeah.
I mean, if this machine decided to die, and if that SDR decided to die, Oh well. I've got replacements.
Well, I don't. This stuff's a lot of money.
Oh, you have replacements. You just have to.
Not to take any of that stuff.
Yeah, I know. I know.
The only box I got that can read that 18 terabyte hard drives. It's sad.
Right now, Windows says I've got 395 processes running and 6,000 threads and 209,000 handles open. That's crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean, you guys probably played with 11 in a year.
I'm on 11, unfortunately.
So, of course, like, my stuff's not compatible to run 11, but through Proxmox, I can run 11 just fine. And so 5:30 to this morning, I finished getting 11 all updated and running. And I played solitaire for a few minutes, and the amount of ads just to play solitaire and the commercials between games, and it takes 3 or 4 minutes to load solitaire because it's got to connect to Microsoft Online Store to play it. I'm like, the hell is this crap? I mean, what's the point of it?
To make money for Microsoft. You just gave them pennies.
Yeah, well, they want $199, right, for the Pro Edition in the first place. And I was like, I haven't bought it yet or anything, but then they gray out crap, which was like kind of annoying. Until you purchase it, I guess you can't customize some stuff. Now, where 10 they didn't care, and 11 they do,
Yeah.
I guess. It just I don't know, and the fact that it's like, here we're taking screenshots while you play solitaire. I'm like, are you kidding me? And it's like, hit this button to record your game to stream it to the internet, and
And
all kinds of
let our AI keep track of everything you do. So you could ask it what you did.
yeah. I am not a fan. That's the one nice thing though is that because I used all bogus crap and fake, and it's a VM, so I, kind of hoping it doesn't tie into much. But I even used like my bogus Google email, and because it had to have an alternative email, and I created a new Apple ID, or I mean Microsoft ID that matched my bogus Google ID. So I don't know.
Oh,
So now it needs 2 email addresses.
Well,
they
because
they
when
want
you
to back up.
yeah, you have to have a alternative access, like your second factor authentication. And I was not giving them my phone number, so um,
Why
I
not?
gave them, yeah, because then that'd get tied to my real Microsoft account with my certs and crap. Not that any of my certs are valid anymore, but I did have a TechNet subscription, that kind of crap. I didn't want to get in trouble because I'm messing
Yeah.
around with 11 just to see because I'm using one of those little mini PCs testing out all this stuff that this guy was talking about that this PC can do with Proxmox, and I'm like, well, that's kind of cool. And then I'm test bedding with was it Tailscale a
Hmm.
little bit, and then you guys played with what's it called, Rust Desk?
Yes.
That's actually seems kind of nice. I was looking at running Sunshine and Moonlight, but then there's another program a guy forked, I guess, of off that called Apollo and Artemis. And but then I'm sitting here like watching this other dude talk about the Rust desk, and basically it's the same thing without all the configuration crap. So I can play my games and stuff through it. The audio work seemed to work fine. So I don't know. Looking to containerize and VM my game on my AI box is what I'm thinking of doing. So I can toggle between them without having to dual boot and stuff. I don't know, tinkering with a lot of crap. There's something else I was looking at today or this morning too. Hadn't really messed with. See if I can find it. Um, I think it's like Casa or something.
Casa OS.
Casa. Um, so you can run like a virtual machine work or desktop in
Hmm.
Casa for free as a user, and then you drop what apps you want to have as your containerized ISOs. Like you can put Chrome or Google or Windows or Ubuntu, whatever operating system, and then when you execute them, they run for X amount of time, and then they self nuke. Just in case you want to open something to see what it does, or a bad web link, or play with a PDF file. I thought that was kind of slick. Um, Never messed with it. But I've been running Brave the last 2 weeks. I'm really starting to like it. A lot nicer than Chrome.
Yep.
Come a long way since the last time I messed with it. I, I like the interface. I like that the ad blocker still works, and
yeah, I've been using Brave for, well, it's been 2 years, 2.5 years now. Put it on my dad's machine because they kept getting pop-ups and stuff. And now he's getting a pop-up from McAfee saying, your computer has a virus. And I'm like, well, that ain't right because you're not using McAfee.
yeah, got a hijacked browser.
I don't know what they've done
Yeah,
because I told
that's
them just to use Brave, but I have a feeling they're using Internet Explorer again, or not Internet, whatever, Edge. It's Edge,
Edge. Yeah,
whatever it is.
well, there's been some really wicked web viruses the last few months. Because they are updating like crazy.
Yeah. Well,
That
my dad thinks that I put Linux on his machine, which I was going to do, but I was able to fix it relatively easy and quickly. So I didn't do it. And I told him this time, I said, we're doing it. We're putting Linux on and you're just going to deal with Linux. And he said, okay. So I've got him. We're getting rid of Windows 11 and we're doing Linux. That's
One of my all-time favorite videos is John McAfee teaches how to uninstall McAfee
okay.
antivirus. And that is
Uh,
actually John McAfee in the video.
oh yeah. You ever seen what all he put in that as a backdoor? Supposedly he could get into anything that had McAfee.
I suspect that's probably true.
Yeah, he did some talks and about being able to backdoor into the company even after he'd been gone for like 10 years. And nobody ever looked at the code.
hmm. Hey, Steve,
Yeah.
where's Ashtabula County at? Do you know?
No.
Hmm. There's a antique engine club that has meets in Ashtabula. Yeah, that place.
Someplace in northern Ohio, I think.
Yeah. The area code. The area code is 4440, so that would be Cleveland, I think.
Must have killed the window. I didn't sleep at all last night. I watched so much crap.
Oh, it's above Cleveland. It's closer to to Pennsylvania.
Here it is. Chasm. KASM.
I put a link to the Ashtabula Antique Engine Club.
It's near Cleveland, though. Damn.
Yeah. Well, is it closer than the
Now,
place? No.
the one on 27, um, it's about 2 hours away. 2.5, I guess.
Oh yeah. This is a good 4-hour drive.
Oh, Waynesville, about yeah. Wayne, Ohio.
On the plus side, if you're going that way, it's a good reason to stop in at, oh shoot, what's the hardware place? Um, there is a really cool hardware store. I can't think what it is now, but it's one of the few places where you can get a gasoline powered refrigerator.
That isn't Layman's, is it?
Yeah, Layman's. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's up in, I don't know if it's
About
Amish or Mennonite or,
Amish. Yeah, it's about 65 miles south of Cleveland.
yeah.
Hey Steve, do you ever look at these what Jet KVM?
Yeah. I mean, they're all running the same IKVM software. Um, they're they're pretty good, surprisingly good. I think the Jet claims that it's faster. That's because it's got a different HDMI encoder chip.
Does it? I was looking at them. They're like $60 or something. I didn't know if that's seen several videos of them. I don't know if you can still buy them. It looked like it was on a Kickstarter, the link thingy, but it said the Kickstarter ended December 3rd.
Um, I'm pretty sure you can buy them. And all the software is available. Um,
I don't know if I really need one for that kind of money, but I just thought I don't know, might be coming useful. Like right now, I have a minor issue with my ESXi box. I can't get into it, and I don't have a monitor anywhere near it. And
I can loan you my Pi KVM.
yeah, the
Be aware it has a VPN client on it, and I can see it pretty much anywhere it has internet access.
yeah, I just need to haul a monitor in here and hook up to it. But what I think I did, so Windows 10 like forgot all my settings, and I had
As Windows does.
yeah, I don't understand why it did that either, unless it was an update. It just smoked it because it wasn't plugged in or what. Because I did like a direct connection on an extra, like a management port on the box, and I know the static IP was set to it, but I don't know if I'd hard coded that only a certain IP could talk to it, but I've gone through about 20 of them, and it won't acts like there's nothing there. I don't know what's going on. It's kind of ticking me off, so I can't control any of my machines.
I was pretty impressed by that little SciPede KVM over USB thing I had. Though honestly, I have no idea where it is. I haven't seen it for like 3 weeks now, or maybe longer. I've been looking for it and it's evading me. But it's the size of a big lighter basically with two cables on each end. It's
Yeah.
got well, two cables on one end, just USB on the other, and it shows up as a video source. Um, you can hook it up. It does everything a KVM should do, but it isn't over IP. It's over a USB connection.
Yeah.
Or did I learn that to you at the last Linux meeting?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. I have no idea where I put it.
Yeah.
I might have lent it to somebody. I do that frequently enough.
I understand. Been there,
I'm
done that.
I'm using an old TrendNet KVM 4-port VGA, but I'm only using it for the uh, keyboard part. I don't care about the video or, well, I guess mouse. I guess I'm using it for the K and the M part. I don't care about the video part.
There's a project you should look into. Give me a second. Um, sorry. Some days things are hard to think of.
Yes, that's getting increasingly hard.
I was gonna say it only gets worse from here, Steve.
I've tried a couple of different solutions, and this old KVM works just fine for for all I'm using it for. I tried a couple of software packages that you run on all the machines, and that'll do it. Barriers was one of them, and something else. And they all worked. I just didn't like some of them. Some of them didn't work as well as others.
Desk flow.
Desk flow. Okay.
It's not a KVM. You leave a monitor hooked up to your machines,
Okay.
but you run software on each machine. And when the mouse moves off of the left side of the monitor on machine A, it appears on the right side of the monitor on machine B.
Yeah.
And when you go off the left side of B, it shows up on the right side of C. And you get a copy and paste buffer that works between the machines.
Yeah. So
And
that's kind of how barriers work.
okay. Um, Desk flow is maintained by one of the guys that built Synergy. And
Okay.
I actually paid for a license for Synergy years ago, and I had it set up on like 8 different machines, and it worked really well. Whatever monitor the mouse was on, that was the computer that was getting keyboard input. And you could have multiple monitors on some machines and singles on others, but the monitors all had to be visible, basically. But that was a very handy piece of software, and DeskFlow seems to be better than where Synergy was when I got out of it.
I can try that one. I've tried a couple of different software solutions that I just never been real happy with some of them. I mean, barriers worked and it worked more or less the same way. You could tell it if it goes off the left, go onto the right of this, or if it goes off the right on this one, do something over here. Um, got a machine that sits up above everything else so you can move it up there. Um, and all of it worked. I mean, it all did what it was supposed to do, except
Still got a pile of monitors set up.
well, you've got all my machines are all in one. That's why I'm not using. That's why I only need the K and M part of the thing. But um, the machine over on my left, I typically take it and don't run it online quite a bit. So a software solution doesn't really work if it's not connected to the internet or
Well,
or
as
connected
long
to
as,
the network.
yeah.
So, and I leave I this machine I leave offline most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time. Um, so that's why I went back to a hardware solution, and I was digging through my box of random junk, and there was the old TrendNet KVN. I'm like, I don't need the video part. I just need the mouse and the keyboard. So anyway, it's after 7 again. So
Yeah. A quick show and tell.
oh, yep.
This is a little steam engine that one of my kids gave me. It's electric. It has a 200-watt heater buried under there, and the heater heats air, and the air flows around the boiler. This thing makes a huge amount of heat, I think. I haven't had the guts to actually plug it in yet, but I figure the output from that little steam cylinder is probably a quarter of a watt. The rest is waste.
Cool.
Nice. You're gonna have to plug it in one day.
You see this cord?
Yes.
That old fabric covered stuff that was on your grandmother's iron.
Yep.
It scares me. Though I will give this, it has a molded plug on the end that seems to be in good condition. It's still slightly flexible. I think it's actual rubber. I don't know.
Hmm.
Let's see. Rubber, 99.8% carbon. What could go wrong?
You're fine.
It's it's all good. Um, we are virtual again next week. And then August 7th we will be at midpoint. So,
Okay.
Yay.
yep. We'll be back. We'll be back in person for August 7th and 14th. So, got
Cool.
all that taken care of and all that fun stuff. And other than that, I updated our little blurb that gets put on all the YouTube videos to reflect the fact that we are virtual more than we're in person now. So
That's okay. Stuff
yeah,
happens.
well, life in 2020. So anyway, I'm getting food here very, very soon. I don't know what I'm getting, but I'm sure it's happening. So I will see everybody next week.
Sounds good. Good night.
Sounds
Good
good.
night.
Good night.
See ya.
Bye.